Hello everyone and welcome to episode 59 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud and Talk About Topic day by day on YouTube, with a full video releasing on Friday. Catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice, listed in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined tonight by the same two guys from last week. The wall that will not fall, Tetsuo.
I was here last week, wasn't I?
You were. And the resident wildcard, Mao.
Yo.
Meta is getting married tomorrow.
What?
They'll leave me and Mao as the only bachelors on the podcast. It'll be a tale of two halves. He's going to come back a different man in like 2 weeks or whenever he's back.
Someday, maybe.
But no. Wish I could be there, but we're not. Work sucks.
I know.
Yep, I know. Work has literally been like, it's been the worst week of work all year for me this week. We're on mandatory overtime. I've had to work 11-hour days the past 3 days.
Oof.
Yeah, because some of the production people went on vacation last week. I work at a sporting goods place that does like uniforms for schools and stuff, and so everyone who screen prints and embroiders and stuff, a lot of people were gone, including the person who checks all our packages in. So a lot of new product from Adidas came out, and it all basically got shipped to us last week, so we were behind because of that. Then they all come back on vacation, and coaches are back at schools and stuff this week, and they're ordering stuff, so it's been insane. And one of our people who worked in the Bracken production is having a kid, or had her kid like yesterday, I think. And so she's gone. We're like short staffed. We're behind because people were out. And
it feels like whenever someone takes a vacation there, you just get swamped.
It is. And I'm someone who knows how to do a lot. I'm someone who knows how to do a lot of stuff there, so I'm often the one that has to float around and do stuff. But it's not just me this week, it's everybody. Like the owner on Monday said, all right, short notice, everyone has to work 11 hours mandatory overtime every day this week. Maybe next week.
At least a little planned.
Yeah, no. And no one is happy about it, and we're all miserable. And it's, of course, it's like raining, it's muggy, and it's like 98 degrees outside. And in the back warehouse, it's like 100 and something. So it's freaking miserable back there. We all basically have to go back there for like 2 hours every day and help, and then come back in and get caught up on our stuff. So yeah, it's been fun.
It's rough, buddy.
Yeah. It's all, I'm just like whistling the Octopath Traveler music in my head, like as I go throughout the day, keeping my head down. I gotta get to Friday, gotta get to tomorrow and play Octopath Traveler. It's a glorious day. Meta's getting married, and that game's going to be in my Switch. And I'll probably honestly pass out after like 2 hours.
Just be sick tomorrow.
No, I thought about that. Shh. If I do, we won't tell anyone.
All right.
I have to wait for it to come in on Amazon too.
Oh, that could be till later.
Yeah, because you gotta get your $12 off.
Well, you set it up so that it'll you get the notification when it's in, and that's when you suddenly come down with food poisoning.
I gotta go, guys. I'm out. See ya. I've already put in my 2 hours in the back. I gotta get out of here.
Ding! Oh, yep. That must be my food poisoning.
Too much heat stroke. I gotta go. I'm dehydrated. See it.
Well,
that's harder to fake, but anyways.
I've just been cleaning all week, basically, and catching up on Macadamia. I've caught up on the anime.
Have you? It's really good, dude.
It's amazing, and I'm happy and sad it's over.
The All Might,
I'm caught up.
The All Might stuff is really good.
Yeah,
him and All for One fight.
It's so good.
Was really good. Anime.
I'm sad I don't have more to watch.
Yeah, and it took a week break last week, so. Yeah. Well, I got that feeling a few weeks ago when Shokugeki no Soma's third season ended, right in the middle of the arc where it's the finals of the what's it called? Where they face off against the Elite 10 in the team format.
Oh, wow.
It ended after
up there?
Yeah, it ended after the first round, the third season. Like, right in the middle. I was like, this is a really jarring place to end this.
They're about to catch up.
Yeah, they are. So, what about you, Tets? What's going on with you?
Nothing exciting at all, like any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been
You've been lamenting Gundam Breakers isn't as good still.
A little bit. To be honest, I don't know. I wasn't.
I'll give you something because I've only seen Gundam the one with Shining Finger sword.
G Gundam.
Yes, thank you. I downloaded the movies of the original Gundam and I'm going to watch them because I heard they were really good actually.
Yeah, they are a good like synopsis of the show. I mean, if you were to watch the original series, it's like 50 episodes long, and it's a 1979 anime. So
yeah,
if you've not experienced it, you're better off maybe going ahead and.
I heard that was the best way to go was the movies.
You should really watch Iron Blooded Orphans. I think that would be right up your alley.
Yeah, Iron Blooded Orphans is amazing though.
You want some edge?
Oh man,
I do like my edgy stuff.
They have so much edge. They have maces with edges. So I mean,
I am going to start with the Therion the Thief and Octofast Traveler. So I am an edgy man. I need my brooding.
I really do think Iron Blooded Orphans is probably my favorite Gundam series.
It's really good,
and it's also probably the closest to Code Geass.
It's got my favorite. It's got my favorite designs, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, its mech designs are closest to Code Geass. That's what I was thinking specifically. So. Yeah.
Well, let's get right on into topics and forget about how awful our weeks have been. Shall we?
Sounds good.
I guess.
All right, Tets, you're first. What do you got?
Well, so last weekend, actually, I got together with Mao and a couple of our other buddies. We started up a new Pathfinder game.
Oh, baby.
And of course, because at first I didn't think I was going to, I had some stuff going on, so I thought I was going to be busy, and I ended up being okay to go. And like, I was having one of those moments, like trying to grab everything as I was walking out the door. And I get to our buddy's house, and I pull up, and I realize that I left my dice bag at home. And I was very, very unhappy with myself. And I was thinking about it because, like, I legitimately thought about just driving back home and getting my dice. And
if we had known what we knew by the end of that night, maybe I probably should have just gone home and gotten them.
Because
it would sound like someone rolled badly.
Oh, I rolled 4 1s, 2 2s, and a 19 that I critted on damage wise, and my crit damage die roll was a 1.
Nice.
Yeah, rolled double digits in combat once,
and that was my critical hit in order to roll a 1 damage to double. Yeah, because I ended up borrowing 2 different people's sets of dice, and a lot of our players like have a lot of dice, and I know I have like pounds of dice, maybe getting on tons, but
yeah, I'm addicted to them as well.
But like I have 2 sets of dice that I always use, and I was joking. I was like I really should go home and get them because my dice are gonna know that I'm using another set of dice, and they're gonna curse me from home. And I said it totally jokingly. And then what happened? I rolled such utter crap. And I was kind of thinking about it this week just because it was really funny coincidentally, but it played perfectly into how a lot of gamers have these superstitions relating how they play. Or, you know, it might not necessarily be dice, although there's 30 million superstitions on dice alone. But I was curious what superstitions y'all might have. Obviously, one for me is my dice like me to roll my dice, and they get very unhappy when I'm not rolling them. They would prefer me use an online roller than touch somebody else's dice. So,
you want to go ahead, Mal?
I don't really. I try very hard to not keep any superstitions, and like just try not to hold on to anything. Like everyone's gonna have bad days and good days, I know a lot of our friends tend to think I'm like super lucky, but I think or with dice rolls especially, but I think it comes down to confirmation bias, really.
Yeah.
It just, I'm expected to roll well, so when I do roll well, it's like people are like, "Yep, there it is," and then they
There's
ignore when I
another one
roll
of our
awful.
buddies who I think it's the opposite. He rolls, like we always say, he rolls horrible. He's always going to roll really badly. And I think it is, again, a confirmation bias. Like, when he rolls badly, everybody's like, he rolled badly!
There it is. There's the thing. He did it.
I mean, I've seen him roll some atrocious things, mostly in Warhammer.
That's
which
true.
also may be more a part of his tactical, part of his tactics.
But the dice themselves have not been friendly.
Then he rolls sixes.
No, it's once.
Oh, is it? Okay. I'm thinking there's one game where you want to roll low.
There are some checks, at least in earlier 40Ks, where you wanted to roll low, and some that you wanted to roll high on.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing immediately comes to mind other than that. Like, I'm not gonna, or like, I've definitely played up the lucky part sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't hold on to this. I try and not maintain any superstitions.
You're not blowing on your dice or anything like that.
No. Everyone, there's like 8 billion people in the world, so there are 8 billion years in 1 year, so it's not like it's not actually that outside of the possibility for someone to just, roll ones constantly for one night.
Yeah.
That's why you play 5th edition. You just mitigate those ones, right? Let's get
Be a
advantage.
halfling.
Mine, I'm like you. I want to roll with my dice. I also don't want anyone to touch my dice. I'm that guy.
I will agree with that, not so much from superstition standpoint, as much as these are my dice. Even if you don't have dice, I've given you dice.
Mine are both.
Don't touch the one in front of me.
Well, here's the thing. I want my pencil, I want my dice, I want my sheet. I don't like people writing on my character sheet random things.
That's just something.
Like,
have you ever had somebody try to do that?
Like, why would you write
not like random things, sheet? Like the, like, say it's like you're playing a new game, like you've never played before, and the GM will, like, help you fill it out. I don't like them doing that.
Okay.
Gotcha. I want to write my own stuff on my sheet.
I see.
I thought you were gonna be like you
not like
up
other
to get something
players
from the kitchen, and somebody like, oh, you took this much damage, and writes down the damage on your sheet for you, or something.
I just thought maybe someone's drawn dicks on your character sheet.
That has happened as well. But no, I don't like that. I don't like people grabbing my dice or pencils, because our GM, when I'm not GMing stuff, our other GM, he is notorious for he'll just pick up the dice and roll them and play with them, like because he needs a fidget spinner really bad or something to occupy his hands, and he spills them and they go under the fridge and everything. And if I get like bummed out because I'm OCD about having all my dice in my dice set in my dice bag. I don't want to be missing one. I don't like that. I don't want to use them if I don't have all the dice in the set. I'm just really weird about that.
I agree with that one. And actually, that reminds me, there was one, I guess, maybe this falls more under OCD than superstition, but I always have to do it anyway.
That's what it is for me.
Where I have a bag of dice that are like my quote-unquote regularly used dice. And it has, like, this is going to be a lot of dice. It has a full set of the Star Wars FFG specialty dice. I have 12 D6s. I have a separate 6 D6s from a convention we went to one year. I have another 6 that I got from the Pokemon trading card game. I have 10 D10s from L5R with the Chrysanthemum, 10 with the Scorpion, and 10 from when I first bought D10s to play the game. And then I have 4 sets of 7, and then 5 spare D20s, and a scatter die, and I'm missing like 2 other sets. I don't remember what they are. But anyway, my point being, anytime I open up my dice bag to get like my 7 dice out in order to like start playing, I have to separate out all of those sets on the table, display them all out before me, make sure all of the dice are there, and then put them back into the bag in the order by which I use them.
We're good. They're all here.
So the ones that I use the most are on top of the bag. I don't actually have to dump it out, but I always do because, I think it's more OCD than superstition, but I just have to make sure they're all there.
When I play D20 games, I keep three D20 sets out, and then like a bunch of D6 and a bunch of D8, usually depending on like what level we're playing. So like that's for that. For L5R, we have so many D10s, it's ridiculous because that like L5R, White Wolf games, there's like so many games that use D10s. But I have like a set for each clan that I'll play when I'm that clan. I have 2 sets of Crane dice. I have the AG Crane dice, and I have the Chessex blue sparkly sky blue dice that I'll use for Crane. I have a set of brown and gold dice that are Chessex that I use for Lion Clan. I have a full set of the clear purples for Unicorn, black and red see-through for Scorpion, forest green colored dice for the Dragon Clan, orange dice for the Phoenix, so on and so forth. Blue and red for Crab, and the same chrysanthemum dice you have that were in the Second City box set. So,
yep, that was where I got those.
and I don't want people losing my dice. I don't want them touching them. Yeah. I keep the little plastic things, and I keep them in there when I don't use them.
Yeah. Well, because I have, as I said, I have my main dice bag, and then I have 4, just quart Ziploc baggies filled with dice, and then I have a little. I bought it online, but I use this only for all my spare D6s that aren't part of sets, and it's a it's like a round pouch, but it has a giant eye sewn on the top and a bunch of like eye stalks, so it's supposed to be a beholder, and the zipper is its mouth.
I have a chainmail dice bag, so
nice.
The for GMing, I always have to use I always want to play on the map, the little dry erase map, because I don't, and even like playing games, I'm like this too, because I don't like keeping track of wounds or stuff on my sheet, because the sheet becomes scuffed up and then I can't read it. I'm like OCD about that too, and superstitious about it. I don't want to like keep erasing stuff and have giant scuff marks. Yeah. I don't know. I'll tear holes in my sheet.
Yeah. So another one for me, and this is so you sometimes see players where what they'll do is they will, whenever they're not using their dice, they'll set them so the ones are facing up, so as to let the luck run down to the 20 or whatever. So when they so it's more weighted. Or I've seen people, they always store them with the highest numbers up, so that way they're training the dice to roll high. And it's like, both of those are silly, but I specifically go out of my way to make sure none of my dice are resting at either the 1 or the 20. Like, I don't mind them being any other number, but I won't let my dice sit there at those.
It's all about what number you pick them up on.
Well, exactly. Like, you pick it up. I always pick up a die. It's a 2-3 shakes and then drop, and then whatever. And so it's like, if I keep letting it stay on the same number, I'll start rolling in the same range. So I always want them to just kind of sit at different numbers.
I'm the only one in my group that's really anal about their DOS too. We have like a giant communal bowl of DOS at my buddy's house, and one of my roommates will always he'll pick out random DOS and go, "What's rolling hot tonight?" And he'll just sit there before the game and like roll 20s. I'm like, "You're just wasting them, man. You're wasting those 20s."
That's how that works.
But we're all superstitious about, like, if the dice is rolling bad, we will get rid of it and get a new die.
Grab another one.
I think almost everyone does that.
Yeah, that's why I switched sets, because, well, although we did realize that one of the dice, because it was translucent, after I'd been rolling for a little bit, that it actually did have an air pocket. And we didn't initially notice it. So to a degree, sometimes,
as long as you're not microwaving them,
superstitions are. Oh no! I'm more afraid for my microwave than I am for my dice. If I ever were to, like, I don't know what a die would do to a microwave. I don't know. You hear stories of people microwaving their dice, but just for me, I'm like, no, I don't. I use that for food. I don't want to. Like, no.
I also don't really need to cheat at a role playing game. So.
Oh
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no! I thought it was just like punishing a die for real.
Oh no!
Usually I've heard it as
people trying to load their dice.
I see.
Oh no! I've always heard it as like, my die rolled really badly, so I put it in the microwave for 30 seconds and made the other dice watch. Or whatever.
I've never heard that, but that's
really
interesting.
Yeah. That way they know the
Yeah.
cost of failure.
I used to have a lot more dice, but they kind of got taken.
They'll do that.
I have some. I have some that I just like aesthetically, but like, I mean, I let other people use them and stuff if they want.
Oh no,
Don't really bother me.
that can't happen.
I have so many
like-
dice. I
yeah.
have enough dice where it's like I have no problem letting you borrow dice from these bags. You just
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
touch
The
my
retired
main
dice.
bag. Yeah,
The
well,
retired
they're not
dice.
necessarily retired. A lot of them have just never been used because I have a bad habit of buying
Okay.
dice just because they look pretty.
I'll do the
I like
same.
dice. I actually have some. So I have some dice coming in the mail that look like little like galaxies on them, like for my Stars Without Number game. Like I just like dice. I need to stop buying
Yeah.
dice.
I have D6s that are like silver and gray too, that are really, or black and silver that are really cool looking. They're like heathered or freckled or whatever. I don't know the term for it.
I still use the first D20 I ever got.
Oh, there's superstition.
It's just more of out of habit, really. I mean,
I had to retire.
Oh no.
I had to retire my first set because
Ah.
like the gold numbering on it used to be well enough for everybody to see, but as we started playing, it becomes harder and harder for everybody to see. And I have a habit of rolling, calling aloud, like waiting like a second or two for somebody to look and then picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's so hard to read, I wasn't letting people have enough time to try to read it. And so I was like, oh, I see what you guys mean, how hard these dice are to read. So I've since switched my primary set with
Mhm.
another one. But I definitely still use those dice for my GM stuff because y'all don't need to see what I'm rolling. You know what I mean? Like as a GM, it's
Yeah.
like
I remember my first DOS set was the clear ones, the plain clear like white ones with black numbers on them, and they were awful because you couldn't see what it said on them. You had to like lean down. I did not like those, and they are lost to the sands of time. So,
like days of our life.
like sands in the hourglass, so too the DOS of our lives. So yeah, it's everyone who the superstitions always seem to boil down to DOS. It always
Yeah.
surrounds DOS. Because
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
it
I
makes
don't know
sense,
what
doesn't it? Because it's
I
a
think it's
chance.
just the randomness, yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
Just chance with it.
I will say one, and again, I don't know if this actually like fully qualifies as superstition necessarily. But it's if good hospitality is not had before the game is going to be a failure. And like I don't know, like, and that kind of sounds like the two go hand in hand anyway, and makes sense. But I'm talking about like when everybody
You gotta
gets
break
there.
bread.
Yeah, once everybody gets there, you know, everybody's having a good time, just kind of talking and bullshitting before the game, and I don't necessarily mean it like if you have bad blood between people before the game. Obviously, they're gonna have bad blood at the table. But say everybody gets there and there's no issues. It's just everybody's kind of sitting in quiet before the game starts. The game starts, everybody's engaging, but then like dice rolls start going badly, or you know the GM randomly left some of his notes that were integral to the game at home, or like I don't know, like the two. For some reason feel connected to me, and again that's probably more I guess superstition.
Yeah.
But
I'd put that in superstition. We always go eat before we play.
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
anything that comes down to a habit can also be like breaking that.
yeah, and I think it's more equatable to that possibly.
Mhm. Yep. We always go get breakfast the morning of our games.
Yeah, like seat orders, or can like I've heard of people.
Oh yeah. Gotta
Stuff
have
like
the same
that.
seats. I have to have
Right.
my same seat every time.
Yep.
Just anything that's like a habit, and when you don't break that habit, it's like the first excuse people latch onto.
I don't want other people switching
It's
seats
like
too.
it's like literally waking up on the wrong side of the bed. I mean that's literally the same thing. Your
Yeah.
habits to get out of bed on the left side and you got out on the right, you know.
Oh man. We had I think I might have told this story before, but in L5R, the first ever L5R game I played, way back in 2007 or 8. So yeah, like 10 years ago. It was a first edition game, and the battle table was brutal. We had one of the characters got killed by one die, 1d10. That kept exploding, and it was a vampire, the masquerade die. And people who played will know what I'm talking about. Those D10s, they're the red tip D10s that are black, and the rose is the 10 on it. And our GM had a whole set of them. And that's what he rolled. So we call them the vampire dice. We basically took those dice from him and hid them away, like a like it was basically like some kind of meta thing. And he was kind of like, I haven't seen the vampire dice lately. And the guy who he killed was like, it's because we took them and hid them away. You're never going to see them again. Then he like ran like, I was tasked with keeping the dice hidden. And I like pulled them out one day and forgot about them. They were like on my dresser, and he saw them and grabbed them. So now he has them again, and he's hid away.
No.
And the player he killed like moved away, but he comes back every once in a while. He's like one of my friends from high school. He'll come back and sometimes like play for a game in one of our games and stuff. He's like, one day I'm gonna like pull those out and just kill him with them again. That's what he said. So. Wow. We're very superstitious about those dice, and I was like, I have those jade chrysanthemum dice, so if he tries to do it, we'll pull those out, and you can use those to counteract it.
Yeah, what is it? Critical Role's got some superstitions too, especially Laura Bailey. She sits there and rolls like her dice to choose which ones, because she's got more dice than Tets.
Yeah, hers are ridiculous. Oh, I love those dice that you posted.
I feel like that's a challenge, and that I need to get more than.
Dude,
nobody's allowed to have more than me.
Those blue and gold dice are awesome.
Well, it helps when you have like hundreds of fans sending you dice as well.
I know, or at least the money to buy dice.
Right.
I really don't have
But
money.
there's one but it was just, or it's funny because like Taliesin from the show, like. He had this one dice that they ended up calling the Golden Snitch because it was the dice he rolled, and he would roll a bunch of 20s on it. And then it's like you look at the stats, and he's got 4 attacks because he's a fighter, and so of course he's rolling more 20s than other people. He attacks more than you.
And action surges.
Yeah, and an action surge. So it's like I rolled 8 dice. One being a 20 is not that shocking.
Yeah, sometimes with advantage.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Superstitions, every group's got them.
Yep.
I kind of like them. They make it more fun.
I mean, they're amusing.
It's a game outside the game in a way.